Morning guys, back on Stanley Road, just by the old cemetery. Old Beckett Street Cemetery. So I'm in the inner city again. I'm in Leeds. It's Sunday morning. It's been a lovely week weather-wise. It's about 17 now. It's about 10 past 7, as you'd expect for the inner city near the hospital. It's quite busy. So today's walk, it's not becoming all city walks, but I'm on a bit of a roll. So I did the Beckett Street Cemetery, and then we talked about the Burton's factory that you can see there in the distance. So today's walk, it's got a bit of a tailoring theme to it. Leeds was a massive city for manufacture of clothing. Tens of thousands of people worked in it. It's mostly all gone now. Good view of it there though. This was actually the biggest tailoring shop in the world at one point. So I'm loosely walking around the periphery of the Burton's factory, just to show you how big it is. But loosely, I think I'll also show you we'll include the day I met the king. Before he was the king. A long time ago now, maybe back in the 1990s, very early then, 1990s. So we're heading down Stony Rock Lane now. In the direction of Leeds. Got to get a bit of a woodpecker. I don't know if you heard it. No. Got to get a bit of a jivvy on. If that's a word, a jivvy. Did I mean jiffy? No. Anyhow, had no coffee, had no tea, because I might need to find somewhere to wee, and I don't think there is anywhere. So I haven't had much to drink, and I'm rambling a bit, but there you go. But I do need to get my skates on, because I looked on the old OS Maps app last night, and it's about 3.5 miles. And if you've watched the channel before, you probably know. The woodpecker again. If you've watched the channel before, you probably know that I work on a Sunday morning, and so probably need to get to work by 9ish. I don't know what church this is actually. It's got its war memorial as they not just every interesting bell though. Got its war memorial, as every church in the country has. So it's probably going to take me about an hour, this walk. Definitely looks closed, doesn't it? So it's probably going to take me about an hour and a half. So I'll probably be cutting it a bit fine. I used to be a pub, which I can't remember the name, so please help me out here. The only sort of preparation, Dalek Bar and Restaurant. Was it not the... Oh, what was it called now? It was a pub on Stony Rock Lane. But as you can see across there, that's the boundary, the fence beyond the houses. That's the boundary, I think, of the Burton's land. Yeah, I've been criticised for not preparing for these walks, not doing a script, and I did once try a script. It was quite good, but this suits my mind better, thinking of an idea and basically heading out and doing it and seeing what happens. And my plan was that maybe we build a little community of people who are interested in the city and the walks that I go on, and that little community could join in and help me out with my help me out with names of places. So if you know the name of the church on Stony Rock Lane, is it still open, and you know the name of the pub, then let me know. St James's Hospital, just the other side of the houses there. So the plan today is to walk, as I say, loosely around the Burton's factory. We've kind of deviated now, it's across in that direction over there, but I will take a little detour to take you and show you where I met the king. I was wondering whether to come out this morning, but I don't know if you've been watching the news, but we're having a summer of unrest in the UK. There's some quite terrible things have happened, and Co-op Academy. Oh, where did we see another one? There's another one just up there in on Stanley Road. Co-op Academy, Leeds. Yeah, there was a terrible incident happened where some children was murdered. Don't want to sour my walk, but life happens. You can't hide from it. And, well, I won't go on about it, but a lot of people, some very influential and powerful, and who knows who else is involved. Conspiracy alert, but I'm sure it's not little Johnny sat in his room that's sending half of these tweets and Facebooks out. You know, the UK in civil unrest, as with the US in civil unrest, is what some countries and some leaders would absolutely love that. And as I say, I don't think, from the people I've seen on TV talking about immigration in this country, I don't think some of them could even tie their own shoelaces, let alone organise a demonstration. Anyway, I wanted to just show you this. This was Torry Road Cinema. It's been a carpet showroom. Now it's a tiles and bathroom showroom. And it's where my mother, I told you last week, took me to see blooming Dumbo. Not Dumbo, Bambi. That scarred me for life. So it was still a cinema in the mid-60s. So, Hudson Road, I was going to say, and Burton's is off over there. This whole area was, before the 1960s, mostly sort of back-to-backs, terraced housing, poor quality housing, I believe. And there was mass clearance, I'm guessing, in the 50s and 60s, and a huge programme of social housing, multi-storey maisonettes, where it's basically one house, one two-storey house, and then on top of that another two-storey house. And houses and pubs and shops. The back of the cinema there, still complete. If ever I win the lottery, might reopen it. Get home. I'm coming down here because, again, help me out, somebody. There used to be a pub. Was it renowned to be an Irish pub? It don't seem to be here anymore. It is a long time since I've walked across these fields. I wonder if... Anyway, yes, so there's these far-right demonstrations. They're popping up all over the place. They're burning police stations, burning cars, burning buses. I'm sure it's a complicated story, but a lot of it, they're just drunken thugs. They are, and they're not representative of our country. And I know it's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and it'd be different here if you came at 7 o'clock tonight. But this is what it is. It's inner city Leeds. I say it every time. People are trying the best to get by in life, the same as they are anywhere in the world. So don't believe all the crap that you see on social media, because it might be from some bot in some foreign land intent on sowing unrest in this country. And even if it's not, it's from some halfwit who doesn't even live in your town, or some privileged dick who is a multi-millionaire and got offshore accounts and houses all over the world. Just believe what you see with your own eyes. I used to have an aunt that lived in these flats here, and used to walk across here to see her. And then the hospital is just there. I used to trek across here with my dad to see my mum when she was ill, which unfortunately was quite often. Where are we now? Just gonna have to. So I'm looking for Eber Gardens Community Centre. Which I think, probably giving the game away now, it used to be York Road Baptist Church, I think, because it was on York Road. The York Road, the main road, is just beyond these houses here, or maisonettes. And I think, well, I remember as a child it was a one lane in each direction road, and then they made it to dual carriageway, and now it's like 3 or 4 lanes in places. But before all this was built, and some of it's a bit more modern, but before all this was built, I think York Road was further across towards here. But I say it's about 30 years since I've been in here. I can see it. I used to have a pal that lived in one of these. I got them wrong. I thought they were one house on top of the other, but maybe they're not. Maybe they're 3-storey houses. But there was a mix. There was some nice houses, little modern terraces. That's how we used to get across. We used to come under the road as an underpass. Shall we chance it? It was always a bit of a dodgy place. Anyway, the big reveal. This is where I met King Charles II. And there's a lot of things I don't like about the British monarchy. An awful lot of things. Might not surprise you that if you've listened to me. But one thing I do like about them, and one thing I very much admired his mum for was the fact that they used to come to places like this. So I think the main entrance was where it says entrance. It's still Eber Gardens Community Centre. It used to be a church, and I was stood about here, and his car pulled up right there, and he got out right there, and he kind of looked at me. I would like to say he smiled. I would like to say he said hello, but he was distracted by meeting the dignitaries. Oh, not dignitaries, but meeting the people from. He was dragged away to meet the people from the community centre. So yeah, that was it there. This very spot where I met the King, and that, as I say, is one of the things that I like about the British monarchy. I say I'll quite a nice building, isn't it? It is. I'll put up on the screen what church it was. Bloke just walked past me when I was talking about meeting the King. I think he must have thought I was bloody mad. But yeah, they come to these. I know they come in a Rolls Royce in a £1,000 suit with armed guards and all the rest of it, but and I don't know if he does as much now, but back then when the Queen was alive, they went to every corner of this land, rich or poor. You know, they'd have been going to some of these riot towns now, and I don't know if they do anymore, and I don't know if they. Well, let's not get on to them. Mattress, anybody? I'm not going to go under the subway. Only because that's a bit too much of a deviation, really. It's been tidied up. So we're well off our tour of Burton's now. I really do hope I've got enough time. Need to get my skates on. You didn't used to be able to walk up here. When I was younger, there was a barrier just here after this last bus stop. I don't think you can still walk up here. Looks like it's a cycle track. Oh well. Good to see pedestrians have priority. I'll get back to you at the top. It's a bit of a drag. I wanted to show you this. It's this is York Road, swimming baths on the left, and the public library on the right. It was where I learnt to swim, and when I first joined the library. Learnt to swim there when I was about 5, and joined the library not a lot long after. It used to go behind, and they demolished part of it. Gosh, back in the 70s, I think. But they had to keep the front because it was listed building, and it stood empty for years and years and years. Anyway, now it's a gym. But when I first moved down here, that building behind, it's now a sports hall, that was an old Victorian wash house. And I remember going with my mother, and it was just a room full of washing machines and wringers and all the local women. It seemed like hundreds of local women doing the washing for the family. But yeah, I've got happy memories of that building there. So I left here. It's all the Burmantofts estate that we walked through. Wow, certainly going to get my steps in today. I am going to have to get my skates on. I've just checked the time. It's 10 to 8. So I'm going to get to show you everything I want to show you. And maybe this little leg was a bit strange how roads divide an area though, isn't it? There's sort of, I always remember it was like two distinct areas. The other side of the road and this side. And in reality, they're not other, but the roads do divide and destroy communities. I think in other videos I've talked about how there was a large Irish immigrant population in this area, so much so that they built the big Catholic churches, St Patrick's and Mount St Mary's, and there was the Irish Centre, which is still there and is a great place to visit for gigs, and sometimes been to parties there, and it's still thriving, which is good to see. This place, this was is it the Victoria Public House, built when the estate was built. Had a bit of a reputation. I think there were shootings and all kinds of other things, which eventually led to its closure. I went to see the Undertones there in 1977 with Fergal Sharkey. We walked in the door and the biggest fight erupted, and the band played on. I was never sure if it was even started by the band. Anyway, I'm gonna go for it. I wasn't gonna go where I was gonna go, but I am gonna go. Massive cinema here. Well, not a cinema, it's a Bad Company Thai boxing, and again I can't remember. Oh, the Star Star Cinema, and then further up would have been the Shaftesbury Cinema, and there in the distance you can see Burton's, but yeah, there's the old Star Cinema. Sorry it's all a bit rushed, everybody, but I can always come back if there's anything in particular that you want to see again. I never remember that as a cinema. Never. It's always closed. I think I mentioned it previously that cinemas were pubs were on every corner, and churches and cinemas appeared frequently in the city. Green light. You see what I mean when I say that this used to be a one lane in each direction road? It's now a 5-minute operation just across it. In front of us, behind the fence, that was Victoria Primary School, an old sort of Edwardian type building. That's been empty, that's been demolished now for as long as I can remember. I think they built another primary school in there, and as you can see we've got up quite high now. We're now looking across the Ayr Valley towards Middleton and that way. Gonna head back soon. I'm gonna have to do. Or I'll be late for work. Which wouldn't do, would it? I just wanted to come past this parade of shops because the city still is. I could talk communities, and communities were made up of churches, religious establishments, cinemas, places for entertainment, pubs, places for leisure, fast food outlets, fish and chip shops, and shops, and every district, and still does really. There's Burley, there's Chapelton, there's Harehills, there's here, there's Armley. Every district has its parades of shops where traditionally you could get everything: fruit, veg, meat, fish, bread. Not sure now if you get in all areas whether you get. I was coming this way because, well, there's a ghost sign that I've gone past many times. It's still quite intact, isn't it? Your home deserves a genuine frigid air. Ring 33266. Ha! That's cool. So just going to turn back at the next crossing up on York Road. But yeah, they do nothing for a community, do the roads like this. They make it easier for people to access the city. But nothing for the community. East End Park is just down to the right. We did a video. Let's go down these streets here. Oh, you can just see it at the end there. And the only reason I wanted to come this far was all the factories, a lot of the factories, an old co-op here. These were the supermarkets back in the day. You can tell it's a co-op just by how it was designed. And you'd get your bread, your fish, your meat from the shops, and then your tin stuff, your jars, your more select items from the co-op. And again, every district had a little co-op, and that was it. No big supermarkets. Yeah, so at the other side of the road there's some factories, and I believe that some of those were actually tailoring shops. Another one of those ghost signs. It doesn't look that old, does it? Industrial and domestic sales, repairs, servicing, new, second-hand, bought, sold and exchanged. I've really gone off piste on this one, I'm afraid. I never realised it was so far up here. Anyhow, yes, so there was Burton's, and then up here, the one that as we're going up you'll see it says Leeds glass on it. That was a Taylor's. For a long time it was Dewhurst's up until fairly recently. And a couple of my aunts worked in there from different sides of the family, and they introduced my parents. So probably like a lot of people in Leeds, born in the 50s and 60s, I'm a direct result of the tailoring industry, only in as much as they would never have met without it. But yeah, it's not exactly curbside cafes and delicatessens, is it? No reason it can't be, but it's not. I just wanted to show you this pub here, because I show you plenty of derelict pubs. But yeah, this one's been here for blooming a long time. Probably get a better shot of it from the other side of the road. Yeah, that's Leeds glass. That was just there. That was Dewhurst, and I think there were tailoring factories all the way up here. Anyway, we really do need to head back now. I think it must be after 8. Yeah, there's a white horse. It's even built in that sort of 1930s style, isn't it? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. There's still a little bit to go, but if you are enjoying it, or if you've got any comments, please leave them below. As always, that's part of my I won't say condition, but part of who I am. If you've got 45 minutes, most people would sort themselves a 15-minute walk, wouldn't they? But no, not me. If I've got 45 minutes, I'll try and cram in an hour and a half's walk. But I have stalled in my weight loss. I've lost nearly 20 kilograms since March through cutting down on food and increasing my exercise. And I'm sure it seems to always happen in the summer. I don't know why, but my exercise seems to drop off a little bit. So a good walk this morning is a great way to start the week. So I've missed Torry Road completely, but I really haven't got time. No, I'll have to save it for another day. I did want to show you the old bus depot. I went past it in the last video. A lot of it's still there, some of it's been demolished, but it was built in 1936. Check it out on the last video, I'll put the link below. We drive right past it. Anyway, this is a long drag now to the top of Lupton Avenue. So I'll get back to you when we get to the top. But the bus depot, yes, it was built in the 30s for the trams, and then when they did away with the trams in the 60s, it became a bus depot and eventually closed. If I've got time, I'll bob down there afterwards and get some bonus footage. But for now, we're heading to the top of this hill, so I'll see you when we get there. Now, Mount takes you through to Harehills Lane. There used to be coal mines around here, believe it or not. Up where the East End Park, we've talked about that before, and then up near the Shaftesbury and the playing fields there. There's all coal mines. We're at the top of Lupton Avenue now. I'm going to head down Hudson Road. Oh, there's still undertakers. So this is where the sort of entrance to Burton's was. So panic over. I think I'm going to be back in plenty of time. There's some jet high up. Sounds a bit military. W.S. Manny and Sons. I wonder if this was part of Burton's, or whether it was a separate factory. I think this is where the Burton's factory starts. And there was a school there, Brownhill School. I think that's why these streets are short. Because I think they just went up as far as the I think the school's off to the right. But yeah, folks, I say it over and over and over and over till I'm blue in the face. This is Harehills. This is inner city Leeds. It's a community of people who all want the same thing: schools for the kids, food for the table, and healthcare. And I'll tell you what, the only people who probably weren't contributing to society on the videos I've been watching over the last few days are the knobs at these demonstrations. Throwing bricks and bottles at the police and setting fire to police stations. Montague Burton's garage, look at that. I never got a response from my request for anybody who knows anybody who might be able to take me on a tour. So I'll shout out again if you do know anyone. And at the council or anywhere like that, I'd love to see it before it gets demolished. But yeah, so that's where we just came from, the flats, the other side of Torry Road, near the old cinema. And then beyond here was the playing fields that we saw last week in the video, and a lot of the playing fields are now stealing boxes full of suits, I suppose. A lot of the playing fields are now being redeveloped into other things. But yeah. It's very peaceful, these Harehills, on a Sunday morning. Ah, dear. Montague Burton's, the tailor of taste. Apparently it started with nothing, and as I say, became the biggest tailors in the world. Montague Burton, the tailor of taste, making a good quality made-to-measure suits for a week's wages. Burton created a mass market. This Hudson Road headquarters, begun in 1921, was by 1925 the largest clothing factory in the world, eventually employing 10,500 people. Wow. Imagine an employer here now that employed 10,500 people. I think that was the Brownhill Primary School at the end of there, but it's not a primary school anymore. So it must still be owned by the Arcadia Group, is it? Huh. And a community notice board, just like every village in England. Where your defibrillators are, family fun day, no amount growing club. Yeah. I said it last week. Social media. 99% of social media is pretty much bullshit. Particularly when it comes to news about places like this. But anyway, I won't go on. I need coffee and tea and a shower, but we haven't got a shower. So it's a poor man's shower for me when I get to work. Get changed and liberally cover myself in David Beckham deodorant. I wish I had a selfie stick. And there was always some shops at this bottom end. Just a couple. There you go, guys, the largest tailoring factory in the world, and a little flavour of Leeds tailoring industry, and a remarkable story of employment, friendships, marriages, childbirth, the sort of driving force that keeps the city going. And that's exactly what all these new generations are doing. I keep going on about it, but it's the truth. That's all, whether they're from, anywhere in the world, they're going to be doing the same as my parents, your parents, all those Irish immigrants. It's insane what's happening in the country. And I do hope it's got a grip of very, very quickly. And quite severely. Anybody throwing bricks, bottles at the police. Anyhow, we're back where we started. I can confirm that there are woodpeckers in the cemetery, as I heard. And it looks like there are blackberries in the cemetery. Not right. But thanks for watching. If you did like the video, then give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment. And as I said last week, I've got some big plans for walks and things. A bit of a rush this morning, but until the next time, I'll say cheerio.